Prospect Talk series is a series of candid chats with IMDEA Nanociencia former researchers that are invited to give their view of their stay at this institute and their subsequent professional careers, with the objective of providing PhD students and early career researchers a vision for the professional development. Today we will chat with Patricia Bondía Raga. Patricia is a visual scientific communicator who helps scientists connect with their audiences. She combines her scientific background with her expertise in 3D modeling and animation. After completing a BSc in biotechnology and MC in biophysics, she started a PhD in biophysics at IMDEA Nanociencia in Professor Cristina Flors team. During this period, she realized the importance of visuals for scientific communication and started to design her own illustrations. She became deeply motivated and went a step further by learning the professional tools applied in cinema and video games through specialized training at CEST Audiovisual School. After finishing her PhD, she began her new adventure as a freelancer visual communicator, creating eye-catching illustrations and animations for science. We know that because we have already worked with her. It was a pleasure. So welcome, Patricia.
Thank you, Elena, for the presentation, and thank you for being here. Well, I'm going to talk about my work as visual scientific communicator, and I will explain a bit how I did started and also how it's to become a freelance, at least by my experience. So, well, visual scientific communication means to create illustrations and animation to help scientists to communicate their work. They can have different purposes, as for example, give an overview. It's not working. No. Vale. Si no puedo pasar desde el ordenador. Vale. So, well, one of the purposes of this kind of illustration is to give an overview, like, for example, in graphical abstract, or help to explain. I don't know why it's not working again. No. Elena, no va en el botón ni en el mando.
Dale ahora.
Ahora sí. Okay, so other illustrations are to help to explain the science, as for example, they can be used as infographics or as this animation that help you to understand how is an experiment working. And others have like a more abstract purpose as give rise the curiosity and the interest of the audience. This is, for example, the illustrations that are used for scientific journals or for websites, and also this type of animations that make people to want to know more about what is happening there and then try to look for this information. Also, the nice things about these visuals is that they stick in the mind of the audience, so they help to remember what you are trying to communicate. To create this type of illustration, I normally follow a similar workflow in which first a client contacts me, they tell me what they want to communicate, which is the research about, and for example, which illustrations they like, so I can have an idea about what they are looking for. From this information, I create like a sketch with the main components of the illustrations and also the main composition. So from this, the scientists can make corrections, and we have few interactions with the idea that they get to an illustration with the one that they are happy. When this happens, I create a high resolution version, which is something that I try to make only once because it's very time consuming and also it needs a lot of computer resources. So when I'm rendering a high resolution image, I cannot use the computer for other things. But when this is created, it is really ready to be released. It is used for the journals or depending on the purpose. And sometimes I am also able to share it myself in my social media, so it gets to new people. And in some cases, they become my client. So, well, this will be the resume of my day-to-day. Because most of the time I spend my day in front of the computer just thinking about how to solve problems, because every illustration and every animation is a different challenge. Sometimes it's a technical challenge because I need to use like many components, as for example, many molecules, and then the computer crash. And I have to look for other solutions to try to get the same effect, but with lighter components for my computer. And other times the problems are more artistic, like, for example, I have problems like finding the proper color palette or the materials or the composition. And in these cases, what I do is like, I try to find examples in photography or in illustration or cinema and try to apply it to solve my problem. So, well, I think that more or less now you understand what is my job about, and I wanted to share how it started because I think it's an uncommon job. I didn't know anyone that was doing something like that before I started my PhD. And in fact, when I was in high school, I was not interested in art at all. I was interested in biology and also in chemistry. So for this reason, I decided to study a biotechnology degree. During my degree, I had the opportunity of doing internships in different labs in the industry, and I realized that I really like to make research. So I decided to go for a PhD. Then I came here to Madrid and I did the master in biophysics, and in this master, Cristina Flors gave a talk. She was speaking about atomic force microscopy combined with super resolution fluorescence microscopy to create images at the nanoscale. So I really liked this idea and I thought that it could be really useful for biology. And then I contacted her and he made me an interview. And at the end, I ended up working here at IMDEA and started my PhD. So this period was very nice for me because I started to learn different techniques and also started to have my own projects for my PhD. And also I was enjoying my social life at IMDEA. And one day I went to look for Patricia to her lab because she was doing her PhD. And I found that she was like really focused on the computer. So I got closer to her, and what I saw is that she was doing a 3D model of an AFM. And she was trying to animate it because a journal have asked her to make a 1-minute video about her research. So until this moment, I thought that 3D was something that only like really expert people that know how to program was able to do. And after seeing Patri doing that, I decided that I have to look for more information about that because someone with that experience is able to learn that. And then I found this software, which I really recommend if you are interested in creating illustrations because it is free and it has a lot of information for free on the internet. And I started learning from the tutorials of YouTube. So it started to be like my hobby. At the beginning, I just did like simple stuff as pickups and donuts. But at some point, I started to be able to apply to my illustrations of the lab for explaining my science. And the more I learned, the more interested I was in this idea. So at some point, I started thinking if it was possible maybe to make this hobby my profession. But at this point, I thought that it was like daydreaming, that it was something really complicated, and even more if I didn't have any artistic background. But then, like, something really good happened, and is that I got published the first paper of my thesis, and the journal asked if we wanted to send a cover proposal. So at this moment, I was not ready to make it myself. I was just a beginner, but we hired CEST, and he did our cover. So this was the proof for me that this was a real job. And in fact, when I looked for more information about CEST, I found that the person behind was Enrique Sahagún, and he was also a PhD in physics, who after that decided to be a scientific illustrator. So to me, this means that it is possible to make it from a scientific background, and I decided I wanted to be serious with that. But then I was like in a bit uncomfortable position because I was doing my PhD, but I started to like other things, and I was thinking in making it as a professional. But after thinking about that, I of course decided I wanted to continue with my PhD, but I was going to have a more structured education to get ready to be a professional in this illustration, or at least try to know more and get to know if really I wanted to do this. So, well, at this point, I started to look for different options, but there is not a specific education for becoming a scientific illustrator. So I decided that I wanted to learn different tools of 3D modeling, animation, video editing. And for learning these things, I found a course that was focused in video games and cinema, and they provide you with this type of knowledge. And in fact, it was online, and then it was perfect because I was able to do it at the same time as my PhD. So during some time, I was doing my days doing the PhD and experiments in the lab. And in the evenings and weekends, I started to create characters, animations, learning about color palettes, lighting, materials, composition, like a lot of different stuff that are not related to science, but that I really enjoy. And at some point, something great happened again, and is that I got published the last paper of my thesis, and they asked again if we wanted to send a cover proposal. And this time I was ready to make it myself. So it was like double celebration because we got published the paper and also the cover was chosen. So to me, this was kind of the proof that what I was doing was working. But at the same time, I have to warn you that when you try to combine the PhD with something else, it can be something really stressful. And my hair started to become white after this period. So, well, at some point, I finished my PhD and my course about cinema and video games, and I continued at IMDEA as a postdoc during the time. And also, during this time, I started to, well, I continued creating illustrations for my group. And also, I started to have clients from outside IMDEA that would contact me. And, well, then I started to be paid for that. So this was the test that I needed to know that this can be a real business for me. So then at this point, I decided that I was not going to look for another PhD after IMDEA, and that I was going to be full-time freelance. But this comes with some pros and cons, and you have to really think about that and try to think if it compensates you. So, well, some of the disadvantages for me are the complicated bureaucracy, because you have to try to understand very different things, and there are a lot of information, but some is not updated. And I started all this when we were in the pandemic, so I was unable to get an appointment to ask for information in the correct places for that. And also, when you try to pick up the phone and ask questions, they didn't answer. So I feel like it was really complicated at the beginning. Also, another drawback is that you have to pay the Social Security every month, even if you don't have incomes. But again, there are a lot of governmental subventions that can help you at the beginning, but the information was complicated. So then I decided to hire some specialized agency to make this for me. And this was my way of solving these problems. To me, it was really worth it because I don't have to waste time on that. And now I know that it's done properly. And another disadvantage is that the work is unstable because it depends on the client. So at the beginning, it's a bit harder because I got just a few clients. At some point, it started to be stressful because there was much more people. There are like some time peaks, and I started to get used to have this type of work with, that we have high moments of work and low moments. But at the end, I've spent 1 year doing that almost. I have to say that it compensates and that I have been able to live in from that. Also, a very bad thing is that holidays are not paid. And this means that I don't have income, and also if some clients come when I am on holiday, I have to reject them, what is something that really makes me feel unsafe. But I think I really need it for my mental health. And also sometimes it is lonely because, as I told you, I enjoy so much the social life, for example, here at IMDEA. And sometimes I miss this about discussing your work and also having coffees with your colleagues, this type of things. But on the other side, it has very good advantages. As for example, it is totally digital. So I can work from any place. I only need my computer. So for example, now I'm living in Galicia, but my family is in Valencia, and I can spend time in one place or another just taking my computer. Other very good thing is that I'm able to choose who with I work and also in which projects I got involved. And this made me feel like a lot of freedom and just go for the ways in which I am interested. And I think also is that I don't have a schedule, but you know what this means because in science we also don't have a schedule. And you have to be really careful for keeping your life balance, like work and social life. But what really compensates all the things is the motivation, because I really enjoy what I am doing right now. And to me, that's the most important part. Well, as a freelance, the most important thing for me is to get clients, because if not, the business is not working. So to me, this arrived in kind of a natural way because I started to share my work on social media when I was a PhD. So I started to create like my own network since the beginning. And now most of my clients come from, well, or from people that know me or from LinkedIn. Where every time that I share something, people who is interested wrote me, and some of them become my clients. So I think this is sharing what you're doing is important for everyone, not only for me, because you never know who can be interested and maybe can be a collaboration or a job offer. And well, from LinkedIn, I also was able to contact with CEST, and I just introduced myself. I had already finished my PhD and my course, so I was starting my own portfolio, and I sent it to him and just say that I was there if he needed help. And at some point, he was overwhelmed with work, and he contacted me, so we started a short collaboration, but it has become stronger with time. And it's something that I think compensates some of the drawbacks of becoming a freelance, just to collaborate with someone. because now I have more stability in my work, because when I have low amount of work, he can help me. I can help him with his work, and at the same time, when I am stressed, I also can discuss with someone and can get help. So it also makes it less lonely and more fun. And another thing that I wanted to highlight is the importance of communicating. At some point, I have the opportunity of have an interview in Emprende Televisión, in Televisión Española. And at this moment, when it was submitted, I started to get like a lot of messages from people from Spain and also from South America that were interested in my job, and some of them also become my clients after the time. So that's just to give you this idea about the importance of tell everyone what you are doing, because you never know who can be interested in that. And well, as I told you, I can choose my collaborators and also the projects in which I get involved. So this is not a scientific project, but it's something that has been important also for me, because this is a tale that my sister have written, and I make the illustrations. So this was a way also to me for learning new digital drawing that I think is going to be useful for my scientific illustration work, but also to become a freelance gives me the opportunity of give some time to this type of project. And I'm very happy because now it is in printing process, and we will be at Feria del Libro de Madrid on Sunday at 6:30 to present it. So you are invited if you want to come. And well, just to finish, I am continuously thinking in new ways to keep learning and thinking of what I want to do in the future. So to me, my next step will be to create some interactive environments. Just I would like to take my 3D models, like the ones that I use for the covers and my illustrations, and create an interactive environment. So it will be like be inside the experiment. This is just a test that I did. This is a 3D model of Lucia Palomino that I used for her thesis. And the thing that I was able to shoot the molecules is what makes me realize that I can interact with the 3D models that I use. So in the future, I hope to do more scientific things, like with better applications. But this was just the test to realize myself how difficult it was going to be, or if I was able or not. And I think what I need right now is just keep learning a bit more about programming, and maybe just share it with the people and try to find other persons that are interested in this type of projects. So maybe get collaborations. And just, I told you how important it is to share everything in your social network. So if you want, you can connect with me. And just to say thank you for listening.
Thanks a lot, Patricia. So if anyone has questions, I can pass the microphone and we can ask to Patricia. So I'm sure that there will be like questions I have. One, so maybe I can just start. So would you please comment how your PhD degree was contributing later to your career, like understanding the scientific projects that people are asking to you, how the PhD contributed to that?
Well, I think to me it has been like quite important, because I have, during my PhD, I got used to speak about science, and also to understand like from different persons from different areas. And this is really helpful right now to understand my clients.
So in just not only projects about your areas of the PhD, but also, for example, projects of physics, chemistry. The PhD has helped you with that?
I think it has helped me, yes, because it gives you like a broad idea about science. It's not only that you are focusing your research, but you also get in touch with different people from different areas. At least, well, here in India, it's really obvious. So then you get used to have discussions with really different people.
Maybe also in the methods that you use, the way of thinking.
Yeah, sure. It also, I think the PhD helps you to be a very resolutive person. Like you are trying. For me, that I told you that animation and illustration are all the time trying to solve different problems. It's something that you do continuously in your PhD.
So let's say that the PhD is not only learning about scientific issues, but also learning a process of developing soft skills that will be later on very helpful for your career.
Yeah.
Oh, okay. Has anyone any question?
Very nice, Patricia. I was just wondering how much of your work is it focused on scientific illustration? So if we don't count the nice book, how much of your work is science related and how much is it like other?
It's all science
related. Because
yeah.
I remember at the beginning, you were discussing that you had other possibilities of collaborating with someone to do, I can't remember what it was, but it was, just in the meantime, I can do this. But so I was now wondering if you can have a full-time job with only scientific.
In full-time, I mean, I am open. It's other things, other offers appear, but at this moment, it's
you don't need scientific. To resort to it.
Mm-hmm.
Hi, congratulations, Patricia. I think you're a great example of what a scientist can do. I got a question. The video that you show, virtual reality, I think it looks great. Is it done by Blender or what program did you use?
It is Unity.
Unity, okay.
No, Unreal, actually, Unreal.
Okay. And do you think you're going to continue?
I want to
continue illustration, like video game or stuff like that.
I want to continue with that. But the thing is that at this moment I feel that I need to learn a bit more of programming because this shooting is something really easy that you don't need to program. But to make interactive things interesting for science, I will need to learn deeply about that.
I bet it's very complicated.
I think it's something that you need time to learn. Yeah. But yeah, I mean, physics is very complicated and you learn, no? So it's just a thing of using your time on learning that.
Yeah. Also, I think like virtual reality is going to be very important in the future, like for education. I think it's a good way to invest your time as well. So yeah, keep going.
Thank you.
Thank you, Patricia, for your nice presentation. I think that is really relevant, the work that you are doing. And I have a question for you. So your job is a combination between the technical skills and also art. So from your presentation, I see clearly that you have a way to learn the technical skills, but do you have also any strategy to learn the art part, the composition, colors, and these kind of things?
Well, that I was looking for when I did the cinema course, also learn all this part. I think that's what makes it the difference in the illustrations. But of course, I need to continue learning. Now it is more like getting information by myself and try to go, like museums, like different stuff that take my attention. But I don't have now a structured plan to learn that.
Thank you.
So if we don't have more questions. I will just see the chat briefly. If we see something here. It doesn't seem that we have any questions. So thanks a lot, Patricia. I think we can thank her again for being here. And yeah, best luck to your future career.
Thank you.